Hello dear students. Today we are going to start the second part of our chapter number 7, Diversity of Life. In this part we will discuss about the different phylums of kingdom Animalia. We will also discuss about certain characteristic feature like why this name to that phylum is given and what are the unique features of those particular animals which belong to that phylum. So let's start our chapter classification of kingdom Animalia. We are going to discuss now. So let's start. First of all, before starting the kingdom classification, animal kingdom classification, we have to study about what are the basis of classifying this kingdom Animalia. What are the characteristic feature, fundamental features on which basis we have categorized them. In this, we will talk about the level of organization of the cells in the organism body, the body symmetry of the organism, the nature of coelom in the organism, body plan of the organism, segmentation in the organism body, what are the patterns of development of organism, and also presence or absence of the notochord in the organism body. So let's start with the first basis of classification, that is level of organization. Level of organization refers to the pattern of organization of cells in the organism body. Either the cells are arranged at cellular level, tissue level, organs level or organ system levels. As we will study the different phylums, the most primitive type of phylum is phylum Porifera, where the organisms are showing only cellular level of organization. They are not clustered, they are not together as tissues. But in the further phylum Coelenterata, the cells they start functioning togetherly and arranged in form of tissues. Later on, as we will move to the further phylums, we will see that tissues start grouping together to perform their specific functions in form of organs. And some in further phylums, the complex phylums, we will see that different organs they start functioning together, they start functioning associatively for specific functions, and this is how the complexity of organization level increases by each phylum. In this level of organization, we also have to mention the organ systems in the animals. Like if we talk about digestive system, it may be incomplete with the single opening where the anus and the mouth they both are having the single opening. This is seen in the phylum Coelenterata and Platyhelminths. Whereas the rest of the phylums from Eschehelminths till Chordates, we will see that there are two openings in the digestive system which will behave as anus and mouth separately. Like this only, circulatory system, there is organ system, circulatory system to transport the food and the gases with the help of blood. That circulatory system was also divided into open type and closed type. In open type of circulatory system, the cells and the tissues they are directly bathed into blood. Means the blood is not pumped by blood vessels to all the body parts, to all the cells and the tissues. This type of circulatory system, open type of circulatory system, is present in phylum Arthropoda. Whereas in the closed type of circulatory system, the blood always remain within the capillaries or the blood vessels, arteries and veins. And this type of closed type of circulatory system is seen in phylum Annelida and Chordates. So this is how we have classified the kingdom Animalia on the basis of organization level. The next level of classifying the organism, next basis was body symmetry. When we see the animals, if animals they are classified on the basis of whether they can or cannot be cut into two similar halves according along one or more plane. If the organism body can be divided into two equal halves, then the body is called to be symmetrical. Okay. If the body can be divided into two equal halves by the medial plane, then the body is called to be in symmetrical. It may be radially symmetrical or bilaterally symmetrical. Radially symmetrical means the body can be divided into two equal halves only through the central axis. Okay, and if the body is divided into two equal parts by only one central axis, then we call, and that central axis will divide the body into two equal left and right half, then the body is called, the organism symmetry is called bilateral symmetry. But if the body cannot be divided into equal halves, then we call that organism as asymmetrical organism. Asymmetrical organism are the members of phylum Porifera. Radial symmetry was found in the members of Coelenterata, Ctenophora and Echinoderms, whereas bilateral symmetry was found in the annelids and arthropods. Okay. Now the next basis of classification are the germinal layers. When we are talking about germinal layers, animals in which the cells are arranged in two germinal layers, they are called diploblastic. The germinal layers, outer one is called ectoderm and the inner one is called endoderm. Okay, and sometimes an undifferentiated jelly-like layer, mesoglia, is present in between ectoderm and endoderm. So they are called pseudoblastic. The third layer is not completely developed, it is only in form of jelly-like. So that type of pseudoblastic stage is found in cnidarias and ctenophora. Whereas the animals in which the cells are arranged in three germinal layers in the gastrula stage, they are called triploblastic. These three layers are ectoderm, outer one ectoderm, middle one mesoderm and the inner one endoderm. All animals except Cnidaria and Ctenophora, they are triploblastic. Okay. Now the next basis of classification is the coelom. When we talk about the coelom is an important criteria of classification where there is a body cavity which is lined by mesoderm. If there is coelom present, then the organism is called coelomate. Annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderm, chordate, all higher phylums, they are coelomate. But if there is not the true coelom, but mesoderm is only present in form of scattered pouches, mesoglia, in between ectoderm and mesoderm, then we call it pseudocoelomate, like in Aschelminths we have discussed. And if body cavity is totally absent, there is only ectoderm and mesoderm, then we call them acoelomate. Up to Platyhelminths, Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminths, they all are acoelomates. The next basis of classifying the animal kingdom is segmentation. The body of Poriferans, Coelenterates, Aschelminths, it is unsegmented. The segmentation is non-metameric, means when each segment is more or less independent and new segment is added from the anterior end, like tapeworm. Okay, here the segmentation is non-metameric. In tapeworm, segmentation is non-metameric, where each segment is independent and new segments are added from the anterior end. Whereas in case of earthworm, the segmentation is metameric, where the segments, they all are interdependent with one another and the new segments, they are added from the posterior end. That type of segmentation is seen in earthworm. It is called metameric segmentation. Okay. Now the next basis of classification was the presence of notochord. Notochord is a rod-like structure which is developed between nerve cord and alimentary canal during embryonic stage. During embryonic development, if the embryo, it starts showing a rod like structure in between nerve cord and alimentary canal, then we call that notochord. If this notochord is present, which is actually derived from mesoderm, if this notochord is seen in the embryonic stage, we call that organism as chordate. And if this notochord is not seen, we call them non-chordate. The primitive phylums, they are non-chordate, and the advanced phylum, they all are called chordates. Okay. Now we are starting with the different phylums, characteristic features of each phylum. First of all, the primitive type of phylum is called phylum Porifera. The animals of these phylum, they are also called as sponges, which are generally marine, but few members like Spongilla, it may be freshwater living. These organisms, they have cellular level of organization and they are asymmetrical. These organisms, they have the water canal system in which water enters through minute pores called ostia into the body wall, and it reaches to the central cavity called spongocoel, from where the nutrients are absorbed. And later on, that whole water is released out through the terminal opening, which is called osculum. Okay. Now this spongocoel, it is lined by specific collar cells in poriferan. So this is called the cellular level of organization. This spongocoel is the pathway which helps in food gathering, respiratory exchanges of gases, and even removal of the waste. If we talk about the skeleton system of this phylum organism, they have the skeletal system made up of spongin fibers. Digestion is completely intracellular. These animals reproduce by fragmentation, asexually or by gemmules formation. Animals, they all are hermaphrodite, bisexual, and fertilization is internal. They have free swimming larval stage. Okay, examples are cycons, euspongia, and spongilla. Okay, the next phylum is the phylum Coelenterata. We also called it Cnidaria, where C is silent. In this phylum, the organism, they develop a gastrovascular cavity which is called coelenterone, and that's why this phylum is also called as Coelenterata. The animals are aquatic, mostly marine, few are freshwater also. These organisms show tissue level of organization and are diploblastic. Organisms, they are radially symmetrical. The name Cnidarian is derived to this phylum because of the presence of cnidoblast cells, which contain the stinging cells nematocytes. These nematocytes are present on the tentacles and the body walls, and they help in anchoring, defense, and capturing of the prey. There is the coelenteron, central gastrovascular cavity with a mouth opening in this organism body. The digestion is intracellular and partly extracellular. Some of the cnidarians, they have the skeleton made up of calcium carbonate. Example, corals. Now cnidarians, they show two basic body forms, polyp and medusa. Polyp is sessile. Sessile means non-motile and cylindrical, like in Hydra and Adamsia. Medusa is free swimming and umbrella-like stage, like in Aurelia and Physalia. In the cnidarians, like Obelia, Obelia exist in both polyp and medusa stage, and these stages, they show alternation of generation, where the polyp, it produce medusa by asexual reproduction. Polyp, they always show asexual reproduction and produce medusa, whereas medusa, they always show sexual reproduction and they produce polyps. Other examples, as we have mentioned, Aurelia, Physalia, Obelia, Adamsia, Hydra, they are the members of Coelenterata. The next phylum is called Ctenophora. These animals are commonly called as sea walnuts and comb jellies. These animals, they are exclusively marine with the tissue level of organization diploblastic and radially symmetrical. Their body bear 8 external rows of ciliated comb plates which help in locomotion. The digestion is partly extracellular and partly intracellular. A specific character of these organisms is bioluminescence. These animals, they glow, they emit light. Okay, the organism body is hermaphrodite. They reproduce only sexually. The fertilization is external and development is indirect. Examples are Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana. So this is about phylum Ctenophora. The next phylum is called Platyhelminths. These animals, they are called flatworms because their body, it is dorso-ventrally flattened. Platy means flat, helminths means worm. These animals, they are mostly parasitic, endoparasitic. Even in human beings, they are endoparasite, some of the platyhelminths. They show organ level of organization and are triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical. But platyhelminths are acoelomate, right? They are parasitic. The parasitic forms of these platyhelminths, they bear hooks and suckers so that they can attach themselves to the host body and can absorb the nutrients. There are specialized cells called flame cells which perform the function of excretion and osmoregulation. The animal's body, they are non-metamerically segmented. That means the segments, they are independent from one another and the new segments are added from the anterior part. Animal body is hermaphrodite, fertilization is internal, and most of them, they have self fertilization. If some of them, like example planaria, they have the high regeneration capacity also. Examples are Taenia and Fasciola. Taenia, which is also called commonly as tapeworm, and Fasciola, which is also commonly known as liver fluke. The next phylum is phylum Aschelminth. These animals are called roundworm because the body, they have the circular outline. Ascae means round and helminths means worm. These organisms, they are free living, terrestrial and aquatic, or sometimes parasitic on plants and animals. These organisms have organ system level of organization and triploblastic. They are bilaterally symmetrical. The digestive system in these organisms is complete with a mouth opening and an anal opening. Complete digestive system is there. There are two openings, separate openings. Pharynx are well developed and they are muscular. These animals are pseudocoelomates. That means between ectoderm and endoderm, mesoglia pouches are formed. They are called pseudocoelomates. Now, in these Aschelminths, excretory tube, it removes the waste out from the body. Animals, they are unisexual, dioecious, and they show sexual dimorphism. That means the male and female can easily be distinguished. Like in case of Ascaris, the male is always shorter, female is always longer than the other one. Other examples of Aschelminths are Wucheria and Cyclostomata. Next phylum. Next phylum is phylum Annelida. The phylum Annelida is because their body surface is marked into rings. Their body surface show ring-like structures, annulus. Annulus means the little segments, little rings on their body. These animals are terrestrial, sometimes aquatic, marine or freshwater both, and sometimes parasitic also. They show organ system level of organization. They are triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical, and are metamerically segmented. That means the segments they are interdependent and the new segments are added from the posterior end. The body is completely distinctly marked into segments. The locomotion is done with the help of longitudinal and circular muscles which are called seater. They have parapodia or triangular projections from the body which help in locomotion. These animals they have closed circulatory system. With the ventral heart, blood has hemoglobin with the dissolved plasma. Respiration occurs with the help of moist skin. For excretion and osmoregulation, nephridia are developed. Even these organisms have developed the nervous system in form of paired ganglia. Ganglia are the nodes which are formed by the neurons. These organisms they are bisexual and involve sexual reproduction, internal fertilization. The development may be direct or indirect. Indirect development means they have the larval stage also. Examples are Pheretima, that is the scientific name of earthworm, Hirudinaria, that is the scientific name of leech, and Nereis. The next phylum is phylum Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of kingdom Animalia. These animals possess jointed appendages. Arthropoda means, arthros means jointed, poda means appendages. That's why they are called arthropoda. Now the organism body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. The body is covered with chitinous exoskeleton. They have organ system level of organization. They are triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical. Digestive system is complete. Circulatory system is open type. That means the body, the blood is filled in between the cells and the tissues. It is not bounded within the blood vessels. Respiration is done by the tracheal system like book lungs, gills, etc. Nervous system, it includes brain, segmental ganglia, nerve cords, sense organs, antenna, compound eyes, balancing organs, they are developed. For excretion, Malpighian tubules are there. Animals, they are unisexual, they have internal fertilization, they may have the indirect or direct development. Some of the members of phylum Arthropoda are economically beneficial like Bombyx mori, silkworm, Laccifer which is producing lac, Apis domestica that is helping in apiculture. Some of them spread diseases also like Anopheles, Culex, Aedes mosquito. Some of them they are very gregarious pests. They harm the crop plants like locust. The next phylum is phylum Mollusca. The phylum Mollusca, it is the second largest phylum of kingdom Animalia which include the soft-bodied organism. Mollusk means soft, that's why they are called Mollusca. The animals are aquatic, both marine and freshwater, and when they are terrestrial, when they are on land, they are always found on the moist places. The organism show organ system level of organization. They are triploblastic with bilateral symmetry, but in some symmetry is lost also. The body is divided into head, visceral hump and a muscular foot. A spongy layer of skin called mantle is formed over the visceral hump. There are gills present on the mantle cavity in this organism and they are which help in respiration and excretion. The circulatory system is open type and the body fluid is called hemocyanin. The blood is not red in color, the blood is bluish in color. The mouth contains file-like rasping organ which is called radula. These animals are unisexual, fertilization is internal, and development include the larval stages. That means indirect development is there. Examples: octopus, sepia, pila, Chetoplura, Lolico, they all are the examples of phylum Mollusca. Now, the next phylum is phylum Echinodermata. They have the endoskeleton of calcareous spines. That's why they are called spiny skinned organism. Echinodermata. Echines means spiny and dermata means skins. These animals are exclusively marine. They show organ system level of organization. They are triploblastic. The adults in this phylum, they show radial symmetry, and the larval stages they show bilateral symmetry. So it is actually retrogressive development. The larval stages is showing advanced type of symmetry than the adult one. The digestive system is complete with the ventral mouth and dorsal anus. There is water vascular system which help in locomotion, food capturing, transportation and respiration. Excretory system is totally absent in these organisms. Animals are unisexual, external fertilization is there, development is indirect, and examples are Asterias, that is the scientific name of starfish, Antedon, Ophiura, Echinus, etc. The next phylum is phylum Hemichordata. This phylum was earlier kept under Chordata as a subphylum Bout, but now it is made as a separate phylum under non-chordates only. This is called phylum Hemichordata. The animals, they are worm-like, exclusively marine. They exhibit organ system level of organization. They are triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical. The organism body is divided into, you can see in the diagram, now you can relate, proboscis, the tip part, then collar region, the middle part, and the trunk region. The bottom region is all the trunk. Respiration is done with the help of gills. Circulatory system is open type. There is proboscis gland which help in excretion. The animals, they are unisexual. Fertilization is external and the development is indirect. That means larval stages will be seen. Example is Balanoglossus and Saccoglossus. Now we have reached to the phylum Chordates. Chordates means they have these animals, they are showing notochord during the embryonic stage. This notochord is the rod-like structure which will start developing from mesoderm in between the nerve cord and the alimentary canal, and as the embryo mature, this notochord will develop into the vertebral column. In these chordates, during larval stages, during embryonic stages, hollow nerve cord was also seen. And with this embryonic stage also show the pharyngeal gill slits. The members of phylum Chordata, they are bilaterally symmetrical, coelomate, triploblastic with the organ system level of organization. Heart is ventrally located. They have the post-anal tail present with the closed circulatory system. Now this phylum Chordata is divided into subphylums like Urochordata, where the notochord is present only in the larval tail. Example, Ascidia. Subphylum Cephalochordata, where the notochord extends from head to tail and it persists also. Example, Amphioxus. And the subphylum Vertebrata, where the notochord is present only during embryonic period, because after that it will develop into vertebral column. It will replaced by the vertebral column. Phylum Vertebrata animals, they have the ventral muscular heart, kidneys are present for excretion and osmoregulation, and also they have the paired limbs. Now the phylum Vertebrata is further divided into two divisions. Agnatha. Agnatha means those organisms which do not have jaws. They have the class Cyclostomata. The These organs, Agnatha, the members of division Agnatha, they are ectoparasite on some fishes. They have the sucking or circular mouth. This is the diagram showing you the example Petromyzon of this Agnatha kingdom. You can see the mouth. The mouth have the sucking organs. They have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. There are no scales present on their body. These organs, they have developed the vertebral column, and that vertebral column is completely cartilaginous. Okay. Now larva, it if it when larva has to develop into adult, this development occur in the oceans only. So examples of this Agnatha, the fishes which lack jaws, they are Petromyzon. The another type of another division is Grathostomata, means the jaws bearing organism, which are further divided into two superclasses. These two superclasses are the Gnatha. They are divided into two superclasses. Pisces. Pisces. The Pisces, they are further divided into two classes, Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. When we talk about chondrichthyes, they are animals, they have the cartilage, they are called cartilaginous fishes. They have the endoskeleton made up of cartilage. The body is streamlined. Their body is covered with placoid scales. They have teeth modified placoid scales which are pointed backward. Their jaws are very powerful. These animals are predaceous. They have 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits which are not covered by operculum. They have they do not have air bladder. That's why they have to constantly swim to avoid sinking. Their heart is two chambered. They are all cold blooded animals. Some of the animals like torpedo, they also possess electric organs, and some organisms like trigon, they possess the poison sting. So these are the chondrichthyes. Chondrichthyes means cartilaginous fishes. The other class are osteichthyes. Osteichthyes, the animals which are called bony fishes. They have bony endoskeleton. Their body is also streamlined, but the body is covered with cycloid scales. The mouth is terminal. They have only 4 pair of gill slits which are covered by operculum. Air bladder is also present. Heart is again two chambered. They are cold blooded. The sexes are separate. Fertilization is external and development is direct. Okay. Chondrichthyes fishes, they were viviparous, whereas osteichthyes fishes, they are oviparous. Okay. The next, so these are the pictures showing you the chondrichthyes and osteichthyes fishes. The next, Grathostomata, is divided into subphylum Vertebrata. We have discussed about Pisces. The next phylum is phylum Vertebrata, which is divided into superclass Tetrapoda. Tetrapoda means four limb bearing organism. The first class in Tetrapoda are amphibians. Amphibians means which have the dual mode of life. They have both terrestrial and water life on terrestrial and aquatic habitat. During breeding season, they move into water. The body is divided into head, trunk and tail. The trunk has two pair of limbs. The skin is moist with the mucous glands. Eyes are large. They have tympanum, eardrum representing the ear. Heart is three chambered with two auricles and one ventricle. Alimentary canal, reproductive system, urinary system are developed. Animals, they are cold blooded. Respiration is done by lungs on land and by skin in water and by gills in tadpoles. The sexes are separate. They are oviparous with external fertilization. Development involved tadpole larval stage. Okay. The next class is class Reptilia because they are creeping. They are creeping or crawling habit. The animals, their body is divided into head, neck, trunk and tail. The skin is dry without glands. The body is covered by skin or epidermal scales, which are also called scutes. Snake and lizards, they shed their scale, which is called as skin casting. They also have tympanum membrane, which represent the ears. The trunk bear two pair of appendages, two pair of limbs. The heart is again three chambered. They are also cold blooded, exception crocodile, where the heart is four chambered. Animals are unisexual, internal fertilization, ovoviviparous development. That means the egg contains a fully developed young one at the time when it is laid. So development is direct. Examples: snakes, chameleon, hemidactylus. The next class is aves. Aves are the birds which have the aerial mode. The body is divided into head, neck, trunk, and tail. The body is covered by feathers so that they can fly, exception ostrich. The jaws are modified into beaks and teeth are absent. Skin is dry without gland except the oil or the preen gland at the base of tail. The forelimbs are modified into wings and covered with feathers. The hind limbs they have scales which are modified for walking, perching, swimming and running. Endoskeleton is bony. The bones are hollow pneumatic bones which have the air cavities which makes them light weighted, easier to fly. Digestive tract they have two additional chambers, crop and the gizzard. The heart is four chambered, they are warm blooded, showing the double circulation. The organism they have lungs for respiration, and the animals are unisexual which show sexual dimorphism. Fertilization is internal, animals are oviparous, development is direct. Example: crow, that is corvus, peacock, pavo, struthio, and other birds. The last class is class Mammalia. They are called Mammalia because they have mammary glands, and the characteristic feature of these animals are the mammary glands, which are vestigial in males but functional in females. They produce milk after parturition, after giving birth to young one. They have hairs on the body, which is also a unique feature. External ear or pinna are present. Diaphragm is the muscular partition which divides the trunk internally into thoracic and abdominal cavity. The heart is four chambered, showing double circulation. The animals are warm blooded. Respiration is by lungs. Fertilization is internal. Animals are viviparous, giving birth to young ones. But they have exception like echidna and platypus, which are egg-laying mammals. That's all for this. So we have discussed the kingdom Animalia with all the phylums and their characteristic feature. That's all for today. Thank you.